on, guys. Portland Live is official. Thanks for coming on. Nice. Welcome everybody in the studio audience. Welcome everybody at home on Facebook. This is Portland Live. This is an opportunity to feature all of our creative media makers, creative entrepreneurs, comedians, musicians, all the people who make this city excellent. And I have got a great list of guests today. And I want this to be just a beautiful representation of what Portland has to offer amongst all of its creativity. So my first guest is the owner of Wy'east Wolfpack, the founder, and he's changing the landscape of Portland one step at a time. So, Sexy Marvin, can you please introduce Willie McBride? Woo!
Got some great music here.
Thank you. I'm going to crack one open. This is a
Cheers.
celebration.
Yes.
Episode 1. Willie, thank you for being here. You represent something magical for me because when I first moved to Portland, I discovered Portland by foot while running. You know, we are the home of Nike, and there's this huge legacy of runners in Portland and in Oregon as a whole. But what you're doing is very unique. And I think you have some great mental grounding to why you do it and why you bring it to the population. So you work with runners at all levels, from beginners to some of the most elite runners that I've had the pleasure of being introduced to. So won't you tell me the origin stories of the Wy'east Wolfpack?
All right, throwing it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think I always struggled with trying to find a career that was meaningful to me, that I, felt like did something good for the world and didn't take away from it. And so over time, I, sort of dabbled in different things, and some I liked and got good experiences from, and others I passed on. But so I wanted to do something meaningful, and I worked with my hands for a long time as a carpenter, and that was really enjoyable. But I think I realized the reason I was a carpenter was because I had a lot of anxiety, and I actually wasn't really pushing myself past that. It was holding me back in certain ways. Mm-hmm. Actually, like when I was in middle school, I started an outing club, and so I've definitely had an instinct to help people come together and organize and go outside and be active in all this. But after college for a while, that sort of went dormant for a while as I was a carpenter. But I could feel it sort of coming. It was going to be resurgent at some point. So over time, through my various experiences, I was still all through those years doing tons of outdoor sports and climbing and really evolving into a runner myself. And so then I moved to Portland, and it was sort of, I could feel the career change was upon me. And so, of course, like you said, this town is so ripe with creativity and awesome people and really welcoming vibe and supportive vibe. So I came here and just immediately felt like I'd really come to the right place. And so that was about 6 years ago. And so I reached out to a wonderful individual named Yassine Daboun, who's my business partner now and one of my dearest friends. So he was already a renowned runner and trail runner and ultra runner, which means distances beyond 26 miles, which is a classic marathon. So I reached out to him because I had started ultra marathoning in my previous home before this, and so I wanted to continue that and meet like-minded people. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to him, and of course he was just one of the most open and welcoming people I'd ever met.
I've met the man. He's pretty amazing.
He's very special dude. So yeah, he immediately was like, as soon as you come to town, hit me up. Here's my number, all this. So then it was sort of a cool story, but I was in Forest Park, the beloved Forest Park, my very first day in town. Before we'd actually met up in person, we'd been emailing. Mm-hmm. And I was going up Wild Cherry Trail up to the junction with Wildwood there. Yeah. And I looked up and saw him run by, and we did a double take, and It's like, Willie?
Oh, you met in the woods.
We met in the woods, Andre.
That's a beautiful story.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was really the culmination. We had laid some groundwork before that, but that was the first time laying eyes in reality. So.
And since then, you've created like a community, a community of runners. You work with corporations to get people active and moving on their feet. Tell me a bit about the importance and what that means to you. People moving and using their bodies.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that and phrasing it that way, because so we've always struggled with this in a way, but then also used it as an asset. Is that we do all this gnarly stuff and have done these crazy things, but really first and foremost, it's not about that at all. Those can be rewarding and.
You're talking about the long distance.
Long distance.
Let's specify your gnarly stuff.
The sort of extreme type things, ultra marathons, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes down to it and you boil it all down, it's about moving.
Yeah.
Like I said, thank you for using that word. It's about finding a way to move your body. That's like the enemy is being stagnant. That's why sitting at a desk all day and that sort of office culture is hopefully, becoming a thing of the past slightly. And something we're trying to help with is change the corporate culture of wellness and allowing people more time to get out of their desks and move. And of course, it's like we emphasize fresh air. So we do classes all over town at these different corporations and offices, and whenever possible, of course, I'm trying to get people outside.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like anytime you can get outside breathing fresh air, it's emotional release, it's therapy, it's so many positive things that. In the end, if you're looking at it from a business perspective, is really going to help your bottom line.
Totally, yeah.
Help the person along the way, which is more important.
Yeah. Now tell me about the name Wy'east.
Yeah, so Wy'east is the Native American name for Mount Hood.
Yes.
Which is our local, wonderful, beloved mountain. Very iconic. So yeah, we really use that word because we wanted to reference, the native people who are here. I think in general we have a lot of reverence for those cultures and the people who were here before us, and people who were sort of a little more in touch with nature and who are a little more in touch with the land and the animals. And so not to glorify Native American culture or anything, but I think it emphasizes originality of something that's been here, something that again worked with the land instead of against it, which sometimes in our modern times seems like we're not always working with the land.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and recently there's been a nice little movement within the Wy'east wolf pack, the Wy'east Sisterhood. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about the Wy'east Sisterhood?
Yeah, another very exciting thing. So the Wy'east Sisterhood is an all-women's group, an all-women's sort of section of the Wy'east family. So it evolved very naturally, organically. We had tons of women who were working with us already, so we do coaching and training as well as corporate wellness and all this. So we had tons of female clients and really inspiring women of all levels, a lot of different ages who were, just doing really incredible things. And a lot of them met through our community and became really close friends. And so it was just very visible to see this network of women who then ran together on weekends and did all sorts of different adventures. Mm-hmm. And so it just sort of seemed like there was enough momentum there, and I think also really a sign of the troubled times we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think like really everything I do, the business included, it all goes back to it's a political statement.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to find something meaningful. I wanted to find something that hopefully is doing something. So if that means providing a platform for women to organize and network and get together and strengthen that community, then that's something we want to do.
That's absolutely beautiful. And you've been you have a pretty heavy event schedule, so you do a few runs throughout the week. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit about that schedule?
Yeah, so besides all these corporate things and whatnot, we have a Monday night workout, and again, these are all outside, which is the philosophy of rain or shine, get outside, embrace the weather, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So there's a Monday evening workout I do, there's a Thursday morning Yassine does, and then we have a Thursday night group run. It's really developed nicely. There's tons of nice people out there, sort of 10 to 30 people range.
Yeah.
Every Thursday we rotate locations around town, and tons of great spots to eat and drink. So we always start and end at a bar or restaurant.
Yeah, so you're pretty in tune with your running skills, and like you said, you do some pretty gnarly things with your extreme long distance mileage. For those of us who aren't getting the miles in, tell me about some of like the first steps that some people could take.
Definitely. So one of the things we emphasize most of all is mental training.
Yeah.
And not only mental training, but just the mental aspect to all these things. So one of the first things we tell people is leave your ego at the trailhead. So trail running is sort of a misnomer in that you're not always running. And it's sort of as simple as that.
Yeah.
That it's really just not accurate.
Yeah.
So the more up and down you do, which trails typically involve some ups and downs, and a lot of times people really seek out more elevation gain and loss because it's fun.
Yeah.
But the more you do that, the more hiking just becomes a part of it.
Yeah.
And really the beautiful thing is once you practice hiking, anything you practice you get better at. So if you practice hiking and really try to improve that skill, you can often hike past somebody up a hill who's trying to run.
Yeah.
So really it's not like, we say it's not just a break. It's not like you're, oh man, I can't run anymore, I'm defeated, I have to hike up the hill. It's like, you can just switch gears and hike even faster than you're running and really make it incredibly strenuous, but you're hiking. So
yeah.
So that's really the main thing is like, don't just forget about pace.
Yeah.
Get out of your head. Don't think about other people.
It's kind of a competition, with yourself more than anything else. It's in order to grow, like you first have to get out there.
Yeah, although I would take the word competition out of it because I think, that's sort of the danger of Strava culture and all this is people constantly recording and sharing their runs and all these things, and it's like, yeah, that can be great and that can be a good tool, but sometimes that just puts you in this comparative mindset too much.
Yeah.
Or, that can be damaging at any level, but I think especially if you're getting into it and, dipping your toe in the water, it's like, don't be worried about comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Just get out there. And I think that's really the power of trail running is you feel that, once you get outside, even if it's once or twice, like when you're on a trail, like, oftentimes you really feel a connection. So it's a very exciting thing to see people make that transformation as well and embrace those outdoor spaces.
Willie, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Before you leave, let my audience know here in the studio and here on Facebook how they could reach you if they want to reach out.
Excellent. So we have a website, which is Wy'eastwolfpack.com, and Wy'east is WYEAST. We're on Instagram, of course, at Wy'east Wolfpack. My personal Instagram is the Willie G. McBride. Willie with an IE. Yeah, reach out to us. You can always send us an email, getafterit at WY'eastWolfpack.com. We love hearing from people and giving advice and sharing the love.
All right.
Yeah,
thanks for
so
coming
much.
in.
Take care.
Sexy Marvin, take it away.